I also want to acknowledge that you folks in the room are the unsung heroes and heroines. I'm going to talk about nonviolent parenting, but who's getting rich doing this work? You show up day in, and I know a lot of the agencies that you come from. I know you show up. I know you do the best you can with the information you have. I know you're going to leave here with some new information, and I also know that that's probably raising some anxiety. How are you going to integrate this new information? After all, evidence-based. Oh, my God. I'm going to have more to say about evidence-based treatments this afternoon. But, it's not throwing the beach ball. Cognitive therapy is not throwing the beach ball around and not talking. And it's not waiting to get a trauma history for whenever. So I just want to give you a lot of empathy. And just what a dilemma a lot of you are in, and how brave it is to come and to be here and to take the step to learn this information and to think about what it might be like to integrate it. I also want to acknowledge, that sense of being re-traumatized by some of the information that's being shared. I certainly am, and some of us have had many of these experiences. A lot of us go into this work because of our histories, don't we? I mean, this is what draws us, this mission feeling inside us that we want to stop, and we want to have children and adults have different experiences that we have. So I just want to hold that too, hold that sense of those of us who've had these experiences. And I also want to hold those of you learning some of this information for the first time. Okay, so that was my holding you all. Smiling at you all, acknowledging you all, just heroes and heroines of mine. And I also, what are we going to do about this shit? I mean, it's got to stop. The institution of parenting is a traumatizing institution because when you think about all of this and the wounds and epigenesis and historical trauma and what do we have, generational trauma and developmental trauma, this has been going on for ages and ages and ages. This is not new sorts of traumas. And if you read Robin Grill, Parenting for a Peaceful World, or listen to his TED Talk, he will take you through the centuries of oppression of children and trauma. Centuries and centuries, folks. So I'm not wanting to make you more depressed, but we've got to, this is an incredibly important path that nonviolent parenting is taking. It's saying that we have to change the paradigm. You cannot go back to your agencies and do trauma work through what I call the dominant paradigm and think you're healing people. You got to get rid of all those token charts and all that behavioral nonsense. We've got to get rid of so many of the practices that we've learned how to control children. And we've got to take the risk to change and do practice change in all of our agencies. So to me, there's a challenge here. One is the challenge of listening to all of this about trauma and learning all about the importance of the body, all this incredible information we're being given. The other thing is how we're going to take this on as a political issue and how we're going to become advocates for changing this corrupt institution that many children are growing up, that has been propagated by parenting book after parent. You go stand at any bookstore and you look at the parenting books. Read what they're teaching people. It's disgusting. But that's the industry. And then you think of poor, well, anyway, I know my time is up and I'm going to, no, I have more time. So I'm going to talk more about this in the afternoon because I think we've got to take social justice action. And then without taking social justice action, we could come back here in 20 years and have a similar conversation. A similar conversation. And I don't want to see that happen. I want us, Gandhi's words, I want us to be the change we want to see. And for those of you who are teachers, schools is just another issue, isn't it? And again, the schools we have are not working. They're not working for children. And I don't want to come down on teachers. Teachers heroic. Don't send home with me. Don't send home 30 kindergarten kids to my house and tell me to teach them to read. I probably can't even get them to sit down for 5 minutes. So they use all these token charts and all this stuff. And, oh my God, they're not taking care of children's emotions. They can't. So I'm going to come back this afternoon and continue this conversation.